This video is all about adding and subtracting fractions. Before we add and subtract fractions, we have a few bits of prerequisite knowledge we need to know. The first bit of prerequisite knowledge is turning mixed numbers to improper fractions. This is called a mixed number because it's a mix between a number and a fraction, hence a mixed number. And we want to turn it into an improper fraction. An improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So how do we turn a mixed number into an improper fraction? It's quite straightforward. First of all, your denominator is going to stay the same, so equals 2. To find your numerator, you're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1, which is 5, and that's your answer, 5 over 2. Same thing here. Your denominator stays the same. To find your numerator, 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29. These two you can practice by yourself. Next is the reverse. We have an improper fraction we want to turn into a mixed number. Here you just think to yourself, how many 3's go into 17? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 5 3's go into 17. 5 3's is 15, which is a remainder of 2. And our remainder goes on your numerator, and our denominator stays the same. Here, 15 over 2. How many 2's go into 15? 7. 2 lots of 7 is 14, which is a remainder of 1 from 15. So a remainder of 1, and our denominator stays the same. You can try it with these two here. Next, how do I turn any whole number into a fraction? How would I turn 7 into a fraction? To turn any whole number into a fraction, it's just going to be the number over 1. To turn 9 into a fraction, it'll just be 9 over 1. Do the same thing for 11 and 14. The last bit of prerequisite knowledge you need is to find the lowest common multiple of a number. The lowest common multiple is just the smallest number in each of the two numbers times tables. So for 3 and 4, our 3 times tables are, 3, 6, 9, 12. And then 4 is 4, 8, 12. Oh, look! The first number in both these times tables is 12. So our lowest common multiple is 12. Let's look at the lowest common multiple of 5 and 7. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I'll just stop there for now. 7 is 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. Ooh, look! 35 is the first number in both of these times tables. So the lowest common multiple is 35. So you can do it for 6 and 9. Now, these are just some knowledge needed before we start adding and subtracting fractions. All right, how do we add and subtract fractions? Well, a common thing people do when they add and subtract fractions is they just do this. They say 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. No. In order to add or subtract a fraction, before you can add and subtract fractions, you have to find a common denominator. And that's the key. So in order to add and subtract a fraction, you need a common denominator. So let's look at our denominators, 3 and 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5. So think of your 3 times tables, think of your 5 times tables, and think, what's the first number in both times tables? Well, 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 5 is 5, 10, 15. Oh, look, 15. So our new denominator will be 15. So we'll get the first fraction, 1/3. Our new denominator is 15. From 3 to 15 times 5. And then we just mirror it. So if the bottom is times 5, we're going to times the top by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. We'll get our second fraction and do the same thing. 2/5. Our new denominator is 15. 5 times 3 is 15. We'll mirror it. So 1/3 is the same as 5/15. 2/5 is the same as 6/15. We can add up our fractions. So 5/15 plus 6/15. And when it's really easy to add fractions with the same denominator. We're just going to add the numerators. So 5 plus 6 is 11, and our denominator stays the same. And that is your answer, 11/15. Same thing here. If you add or subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. All right, we got to find the lowest common multiple. Think of our 5 times tables. Ooh, 35 is our common denominator. So 4/7. Mirror it. 4 times 5 is 20. Same thing for the other fraction. 5 to 35 is times 7. Times the top by 7. 2 times 7 is 14. So we can do 20 35ths plus 14 35ths. 20 plus 14 is 34 over 35. And that's our answer. Here, 3 plus 2/5. So it's a number plus a fraction. So what we're going to do is, when we add fractions, we want to have both the numbers as fractions. So we can turn 3 into a fraction. To turn 3 into a fraction, it'll be 3 over 1. And now we're just adding 2 fractions. So we're going to find the lowest common multiple of 1 and 5. So the 1 times tables, obviously it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 times tables is 5, 10, 15. Ooh, the lowest common multiple. This one's easy. It's just 5. All right, so we'll get our first fraction, 3 over 1. Our new denominator is 5. Okay, and 2/5. This one is 2. Yeah, 2/5 is just 2/5, obviously. We can add it to fractions. 15 over 5 plus 2 over 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17 over 5. Ooh, the top number is bigger than the bottom number. So this is an improper fraction. This is a perfectly fine answer. But let's turn it into a mixed number. So how many 5s go into 17? 3. 3 times 5 is 15, which is a remainder of 2 of 17. And our denominator stays the same. So you can answer like this or like this. Okay, last one. 5 minus 7/3. Ooh, let's turn 5 into a fraction. 5 over 1. Let's find our lowest common multiple of 1 and 3. So 1 times tables is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look, it's already just it's going to be 3. So 5 over 1 equals, new denominator is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 7/3. Denominator is 3. 3 times what is 3 times 1? Well, times the top by 1. 7. So it'll be 15/3 minus 7/3, which is 8/3. And then 8/3 is improper. So we can turn it into a mixed number. How many 3's go into 8? 2. 3 times 2 is 6, which is a remainder of 2 from 8. And our denominator stays the same. All right. There we go. Next page. Oh, okay. Now, how do we add and subtract fractions with mixed numbers? Well, the first thing you have to do if you have mixed numbers is you're going to make them improper. Okay, so how do we do that? So we're going to do it on the side, 2 and 2/5. Our denominator stays the same. And we're going to do 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So it's going to be 12/5. So we're going to do 12/5 plus 7/8. Now, our denominators aren't the same, so we're going to find a common denominator. So the LCM of 5 16, 24. Ooh, 40 is our common denominator. So we're going to make 12/5 into 40ths times 8 times 8, which is 96. And then the same thing for 7/8. So now we have our two fractions. So we're going to do 96 over 40 plus 35 over 40. So we can add these up now. 131 over 40. It's an improper fraction. Let's turn into a mixed number. How many 40s go into 131? Well, 40, 80, 120. So 40 times 3 is 120, which is a remainder of 11 from 131. That's our answer. Next question. We have two mixed numbers, so we have to turn both of them into improper fractions. In this question here, we only had one mixed number, so we only had to change that one. We could just leave this one the same, but we're gonna have to change both of these. So 5 1/2. Denominator stays the same. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and we'll do the same thing with 3 2/7. 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23. So it's going to be 11 over 2 minus 23 over 7. We're going to find the lowest common multiple of 2 and 7. So I'll write down my times tables of 2. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And 7 times table is 7, 14. Our common denominator is 14. So I'm going to get 11 over 2 equals 14 times 7 times 7, 77. Get the other fraction, 23 over 7. Denominator is 14 times 2 times 2, 46. So we can get 77 over 14 minus 46 over 14. 77 minus 46 is 31 over 14. This is our answer. If you want, we can change it into a mixed number. So how many 14s in 31? Well, 14, 28. There's 2. 14 times 2 is 28. To get to 31, we add on 3 more, and our denominator is 14. Last one. Okay, a number. We're going to turn it into a fraction. This number here is mixed. We're going to make it improper. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So it's going to be 6 over 1 minus... The lowest common multiple of 1 and 9. Well, our 1 times tables is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Our 9 times tables is 9, 18, so 9's in both lists. So we'll do 54 over 9 minus 20 over 9 equals 54 minus 20 is 34, 9. This is a perfectly fine answer. Otherwise, we can make it into a mixed number. How many 9's in 34? 9, 18, 27, 36. 36 is too high, so 9, 18, 27, 3. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 to 34 is x7 more. And our denominator stays the same. Boom. So basically, the lesson here is, if you ever have a mixed number, make it improper. Make it improper. Make it improper. Make it improper. If you ever have a whole number, make it into a fraction. And once you do those things, you can finally just then find your lowest common multiple and then solve the problem. On the next page, guys, is some practice you should do.